Yeah, this is the second part of the study of this transducer. It's an altitude transducer from Spirit Gyroscope. It is called Zero Reader Flight Director Type ZL2 altitude unit. So this one is complete. It will be used for the test using an air pressure. So I have connected this transducer to a power supply here, which is a 26 volt AC. I have connected also the input of the LVDT sensor here, the excitation coil, to the same voltage, 26 volt AC. I have already optimized this capacitor. I found that the optimum value is 0.5 microfarad. I have used also the same amplifier here. I have used in a previous video. So I have connected an oscilloscope to the error voltage of the LVDT sensor. The power supply comes from this transformer here. It is connected to the output of an amplifier, which is connected to a function generator. So I will activate the function generator in order to activate the power supply. Okay, so there is a small noise. So the gain of the amplifier is set to the maximum. It is 120 or something like that. You can see that if I try to make a disturbance on this regulation, okay, so you have an error voltage. You can see that it will retrieve the zero position after a while. Okay, I can try to move the capsules also. And you can see that it is still regulated. So you can see that this thing works. The next step will be to test this device in a real situation using an air pressure. So let's do this test. I need to apply the air pressure inside this hole here. So I have in my stock this kind of adapter here, and also this one, which permits to use a 6 mm plastic tube. So I will use the assembly of two of them here, and I will insert this into that hole. But I will use first this thread sealant here in order to avoid any leakage. Okay, so that should be perfect. This one doesn't seem to work. It is supposed to have a resistance between the measurement coils here and the tachometer, between the terminal G here and the terminal D. But when I measure with my continuity tester between D and G, which is just here, there is nothing. So it's open circuit, so I think there is a problem inside. So the only problem is the measurement of the LVDT or the tachometer also. So we need to open this thing. So it is difficult to remove these screws because the gap of the screws are not compatible with the screwdriver. So it's a bit painful, and the screws, I think, are glued. This one, this is another story. I have found a tip which should be compatible. Let's try with this one. Perfect. Okay, so now it will be a little bit difficult to open. Okay. Okay, so this is absolutely the same at first look. So let's do first a measurement of the VDT sensor, because we had a problem here. So maybe we can measure, for example, the resistance in between this point and this point. So this white wire here is a connection between the two coils. Okay, so normally the output is here, 1 kilo ohm. Seems high. I will compare to the other one. Seems strange. So the first one, 1 kilo ohm, okay. There is a large number of turns. So let's see the tachometer now. The tachometer will be difficult to measure. I don't know how I will manage that. So I will check the continuity first between at least that point. Normally this one here, a G, and one terminal here. So this is G. This is this one here. Okay, so this is this one. So this one is okay. I have the contact between this terminal and this one here. So I have a problem either with that connection here or maybe the tachometer itself. D, but this will be difficult. Okay, so normally this is this green wire here. Inside this heat shrink here. They are connected together with another wire which goes to the resistor inside the small housing. So this is why you have this soldering inside. So you can see what is inside this tube, and at least it should be possible to make the measurement of the tachymeter itself. There is this yellow wire here which goes to the tachymeter. The yellow wire is this one. So it is possible to test at least the resistance of this coil. So I will remove this small tube here. Everything seems normal, as you can see. I will test the resistance between this point and the terminal D here. So between this yellow wire, which is soldered to the two green wires, and this terminal D here. So first D is here. seems to be open. So it seems that the winding of the tachometer is open. I didn't expect to find an issue with this thing, but because the first one was okay. So I think I will need to close the first one. But I don't want to resolder the connector. It will be very difficult. And changing the AC motor and the tachometer is difficult also. So I don't know what to do actually. What I can do is to make the measurement without the tachometer. It should be unstable, but it's the only thing I can do. Okay, so what I will do is to try to change the motor here. So I will remove the two screws. I will cut the wires here. I think this will not be too complicated. And I will replace with the other one. So I think this is the best solution. So I think this thing was manufactured in '63. So I will remove this working motor from this first unit. You can see that this one has no marking. Okay, so normally I have all the colors. So the green one here was connected to the yellow, and I have 5 wires left correspond to these ones here. So first I will prepare the wires. I think it's the first time that someone changes the motor on this instrument. Okay, so we reinstall the motor. So I think I need to attach the wires. Okay. This should do the job. So I will test before without placing the cover. If everything works perfectly, I will place the cover and I will test with the air pressure. Okay, so I have reconnected this transducer. And as you can see, it works again. The new one, I mean. Okay, so the regulation works. Okay, so I will replace the cover and I will make the test with an air pressure. Okay, so I have connected this transducer to the air pressure generator, which is on the right here. Okay, I have a manometer here which permits to measure the pressure, which is below, of course, the outside pressure. So the pressure is negative relative to the room pressure here. So I will start. Okay, you can see that we have an effect. And there is no leakage, or maybe very little, but I cannot see on the manometer. You can see that the servo control loop works. You can decrease the pressure. So normally the transducer is expected to be used vertically, so we can see if there is a change in the regulation. It's more or less insensitive. There is a very little change, you can see, but it's more or less identical. So now we can test the relative mode. So I will disconnect the input of the amplifier. It's just this wire here. So there is no change at this time. I will decrease the sensitivity. Okay, so the pressure now is 288 millibars. Nearly 300 millibars. Below, of course, the room pressure. So that is to say, a pressure of 700 millibars or something like that. So now we'll decrease the pressure. Okay, so you can see that we have an increase of the error voltage. So this is the maximum. So the maximum is 6 divisions peak to peak. Okay, I will reconnect the input of the amplifier again in order to activate the servo control loop. What we can do is to calculate the maximum variation of altitude, which is possible to measure with this transducer. So we start with the round pressure, for example, minus 400 millibars. Okay, I have minus 400 millibars. And now I will increase the pressure in order to have a 6 division peak to peak on the oscilloscope. I will disconnect the input of the amplifier. And I will increase the pressure in order to have 6 division peak to peak error signal on the oscilloscope. Okay, so this is something like that, and the pressure is 425 millibars. Okay, so the variation is 26 millibars. We can see in this table here that for an air pressure of minus 400 millibars, so this pressure corresponds to an absolute pressure of 600 millibars, which is approximately 14,000 feet. You can see that the difference between 500 and 95 and 619 here is 24, 25 millibars. So this corresponds to a change of altitude of 1000 feet. So the maximum variation of altitude, which can be measured with this transducer, is something like plus or minus 1000 feet. It was also this value which was calculated in the previous instrument, which was the Smith, I think, the sensitive Smith indicator. I will reconnect the servo control loop. Okay, you have an air pressure of 710 millibars. This corresponds to an absolute pressure of 300 millibars or something like that. So the corresponding altitude is 30,000 feet approximately. Okay, so this instrument works perfectly. It's a very small form factor, and we have also the servo control loop with the tachymeter, which is not always the case in this kind of instrument. So 50 years after, this instrument still works. So this was a complete teardown and test of this transducer. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.